Hi, my name is Jehu and you're watching Preferskill channel. This video is all about basic information on credit cards for beginners. If you do like the video, please consider subscribing and also hitting the like button. That would really encourage me to make future videos on this subject. If you have any queries or any form of clarification on the matter that we discussed, please do not hesitate to write that on the comment section. We'll get back to you with the correct information as early as possible. Let's start the video. What's a credit card? It's a plastic card with a chip provided by the card issuer, generally a bank or a financial institution, who provide the customer with a credit limit which the customer or the product user can use and has to pay back on a specific due date. If paid on time, there is no interest charged. If not, then interest would be charged. That's the gist of it. Now let's talk about certain terms that we used on the beginning of the video. First, we'll start with credit limit. Now, what is a credit limit? A credit limit is a limit provided to you on the credit card which you have received. Now, this is solely decided by the bank, and there are too many factors involved in it. Majorly, your CIBIL score and the bank's internal terms and conditions. Now, this limit you can use to purchase things online on e-commerce websites. You can purchase goods while visiting the supermarket, and you can also withdraw funds from an ATM. Let's say you want to withdraw funds from an ATM. You cannot actually use the entire limit. As you see in the diagram, your actual 50,000 is divided into two. One is 45,000 as your purchase limit and 5,000 to be your cash withdrawal limit. Now, my recommendation would be to avoid using the cash withdrawal facility that you have, because this facility would really cost you, plus you have to pay interest on that specific amount that you have withdrawn from the day till you make the complete payment of it. So it's always advisable that you don't go with that and use the entire limit to make purchases or to do transactions that you choose to do. Now, let's talk about the second term, that's billing cycle and due date. Earlier in the definition, we got to know that bank provides you the limit. You can use the limit however you choose to use it, and later you have to make the payment on due date. Now, let's go with an example. I'll explain what's a billing cycle and what's a due date. Now, in the diagram, let's assume that you had made a purchase on 1st of March 2021 using your card on the Amazon website for an amount of 3,000 rupees. And later on, you use the card to pay your electricity bill, which was around 2,200 rupees. And later, you didn't use the card. Now, in general, banks would provide you a specific due date. Generally, banks don't give the customer an option to change the due date, but some banks do provide an option to change your due date from their list of options. Now, let's say, assumably, you had a bill generation date on 26th of March. So every month, you have a fixed date on which your bill gets generated. That's called your billing cycle. Now, from that particular billing cycle or bill generation date, you have at least 15 to 20 days where the bank doesn't charge you any interest, and post which you generally get the due date. Now, this particular information is provided to you on your e-statement or physical statement that you have requested from the bank. Now, at the time of offering you a credit card, the executive or the salesperson must have convinced you, stating that you have to only pay your due after 45 days or 50 days from the day of purchase. But what they fail to mention is that purchase should be made after the billing cycle. So let's say we'll go with a different pathway here. Let's say on 26th of March, your bill got generated, but you didn't have any dues because you didn't make any purchases online, or you didn't make any utility bill payment. Now all of a sudden, after 26th, on 27th you got an emergency and you got to make a payment on your bill which was due. Now suddenly you went, used your credit card, and you made the payment. Now actually what happened is you have crossed the cycle. Now from 26th onwards till 26th of April, you have a very good time frame of 30 days that is interest free for you. Plus, after the generation of that particular bill on 26th of April 2021, you get additional 10 to 15 days to make the payment on the due date. So considering all these factors, so you generally get 45 to 50 days if you purchase something after the billing cycle. So that's the logic here. But people don't tend to tell you the truth that if you make a purchase just before 2 days or 3 days or just a week before, and your bill gets generated and you're surprised that you are not offered with a credit card offer of 45 to 50 days interest free period. Now this you have to be very careful on of how you purchase. My recommendation to beginners would be that please do not go with impulse purchasing, because that really tends to have a negative impact on your CIBIL score and also as in your financial journey. Let's talk about interest charges and other charges involved on your credit card. I'll be very brief on these charges. If you need any clarification, please do not hesitate to mention them on the comment section. Now, as you have seen on the previous slide, you have a bill generation date, which is also known as a billing cycle, and you have to make the payment on the specific due date. If you make the payment, complete payment on due date, on time, then there is no interest charged. If you fail to make a payment, then interest is charged on individual amount from day one till you make the payment. In addition to that, you're also charged with late payment fee, which is solely dependent on the total bill amount that got generated. Now, in addition to these charges, if you withdraw funds from an ATM through your credit card, you are charged with interest from the very first working day, and plus you have a cash advance fee, which is a fixed fee. Secondly, you have a over limit fee. Now, you would be surprised to know that your actual 50,000 has extra limits in it. What do I mean by that? Sometimes if you exceed the limit, it would go through, but you would be charged with this over limit fee. Now this particular amount as an over limit is decided by the bank. It is generally 5% to 10%, but you have to check with your bank about the same. Now, I explained to you about the charges which you can get. These are generic charges which all customers get on their credit card statement. Now, you would be surprised and overwhelmed about the charges, about due date, about lots of things. Now, you may ask me a question of why the heck should I get a new credit card? I'm completely satisfied with my debit card. You get a credit card basically for two things. One is it is available in terms of need, in emergency, and it is also having rewards facility, cashback facility, and also other services. Now when I mean other services, it includes your lounge access facility, your concierge services, and other services as well. My final recommendation would be, do not be an impulse buyer. Always use 20 to 30% of your credit card only. Make the bill payment on time, and always choose a card which gives you the best offering at a lower price. I hope this video was helpful and useful for beginners, and all the best for the new credit card which you are going to get. Thank you, and if you do like the video, please consider subscribing and hit the like button so that I'd be encouraged to make future videos. Have a great day.